For the Interrobank, I'm Gracia Espinosa, and welcome to a new episode of the Red Couch podcast. Today, our guest is Philip Beausoleil, a student of Fanshawe College who created your own e-bike, right?
Electric motorcycle, yes.
Oh, that's interesting. We are going to talk about this, and for sure, we are going to know more about Philip. So, first of all, I would like to know about your journey to electromechanical engineering technician program and why did you choose this field?
So I picked electromechanical engineering. Originally, I went to Western for mechanical engineering. It was just too much theory, and I wanted to be more hands-on. So I took a little bit of time off, went into industry, worked several different jobs, doing repair, diagnostic, and factory work. And it's like, yes, I really do enjoy the engineering side of things, but I want to stay more close to maintenance. So I figured going into electrical mechanical engineering, which ties directly into industrial automation, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time in that course.
But I understood that your interest in electromechanical engineering comes from your family too, right?
Yes, so I come from a big family of makers and tradesmen doing anything from framing electrical to millwright and tool and die.
When you were in the high school, you were very good in maths, right? Because you have your own professors at home. So,
Yes, in high school, I took a big mix of university level courses and then also a lot of the trade courses too. So it was a very big mix that we don't see often crossing the two worlds.
that's really cool because I was really, really bad on maths. So it was a disaster. Now we are going to talk about your e-bike project. So, what was the inspiration for do this huge project? Because it's not like last week. In a previous program, we had a student who created the smallest arcade game. But
Yes.
this is the perhaps for me the biggest project that I have just seen from a student of Fanshawe.
So for me, in electromechanical engineering, we have a capstone project. So there's a final semester cumulative project to show your skills and what you've done in the course. So for me, I had the T-shirt cannon as a reference, which was a project done by electrical mechanical students on a tracked or remote controlled chassis as a pneumatic cannon that shoots T-shirts. So that was my baseline. So for myself, I wanted to go in and make it something that's comparable but specialized in my skills. So the best thing I had a nice little powertrain from previous projects laying around. I knew we did welding, mechanical design, electrical design, the industrial programming in the course. So it led into I have all the components. It ties in every single aspect of the course I did. Let's do this.
Well, let's do this. It looks easy, but I mean, I don't think so. It's so easy because, for example, you incorporated features like 3,000-watt motor and adaptive systems. So, how you can design that, or how do you start?
So I started out with the powertrain, so the motor, battery, and motor controller. Those are the main thing that make up a bike, besides the actual frame and accessory devices. With having that in hand, my next step was to do the control systems. So that was including all the turn signals, horns, user interfaces, and dashboard, because since it is a custom vehicle, there is no dash actually pre-existing for it. So I went through that, built out a prototype board assembly, so everything went into a wooden frame for me to make sure all the electrical components work together and communicate. I had that done for our fall open house. And with that being a success, that was the first design sequence. I went on to doing the next stage, which was actually manufacturing a chassis to put all the components in and have it work out.
To design it, I don't know if you do it perhaps first on a paper or you start immediately or with your computer or your laptop.
Neither. I do a lot of research on the components I can select and pick from. And then I iterate of where I have interferences, what do I actually need, why am I picking that instead of this different component. So I did a lot of mental design for about 2 weeks before I even touched any paper or CAD.
Wow.
And then
Like a checklist, no? Like I have this, I need this. Okay.
so I break it down to smallest components as I can and then start building up larger assemblies. And
Mm-hmm.
then once I have, okay, this should work, I then spend the time in, it was SolidWorks in this case, to do a CAD model to actually
Mm-hmm.
ensure everything will fit and will work together properly as I expect.
And it was easy to find all the things you needed for the e-bike or e-bike, yeah? So I don't know. It was difficult. Did you have to buy them on Amazon or in another place far away from London?
It was a big mix. I had a bunch of different suppliers. There we go. I
Yeah.
had a bunch of different suppliers for this project. I
Mm-hmm.
had a couple places in the US because I needed hardware that was a little bit harder to find here. I ordered some stuff
Mm-hmm.
from China just because I did not have the money for the actual sensors because I went with a industrial level project because
Mm-hmm.
I've done maker projects before and I wanted to do a next step up.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And with that, the sensors are significantly more expensive. And unfortunately, I did go with the cheaper options on the market.
Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it was useful all the resources that Fanshawe provided to you.
Yes, very much so. I was able to make use of the machine shop, the welding shop. We also have the trades accelerator up in B building. They were gracious enough to allow me to work out of that space while I was building the motorcycle.
Mm. And all the expenses, I don't know if you collect money from your family and friends, so you saved a lot of money previous this project.
So this year was one of those. I'm not going to do a lot of projects in my lifetime, so I'm going to spend the money now
Wow.
and actually have this come to fruition rather than just watching videos online of people doing it
I
instead.
mean, you could have a second life and you could be a singer. You could promote concerts like, hey, I have this e-bike project, so pay your ticket. You are going to support the future of the technology. So who knows? Um, what was the most challenging part of the project? I mean, you talk about that it was difficult to find this, or it was very expensive, but something that you say, oh my gosh, I don't expect this in this moment.
The hardest part was the time management. I did not. I followed very specific phasing in the project
Mm.
just to try and force myself and give myself a challenge. So I had the first month was just all design. I didn't order any parts until the 1st of October. So then I had the 1st of November is when I had to start assembling everything and figure out if I'm
Mm-hmm.
able to actually go to the frame design stage or if I just finish this as my capstone. And I was able to actually get far enough in November that I was able to take 3 weeks at the end of the semester to build the frame and install all the components and do all the wiring. And still needs some more programming. I did not have enough time for that, but for 81 days, going from a concept idea of, hey, I can do this, to here's
Mm-hmm.
a bike that's built, welded, fabricated, designed, everything in CAD. I'm happy with what I was able to achieve.
So I would like to compare it as how long it takes to create an e-bike in, well, perhaps for a professional, or and how long it takes for you to create an e-bike to compare the times.
So one of the big differences is I was working a lot with integrating
Mm-hmm.
larger sensors and components that would not typically be used in a bike.
Okay.
This was intended as a research and development platform, so I can put in sensors in the future and have easily accessible and interfaceable
Mm-hmm.
with the back-end system. Because I could remove the primary
Mm-hmm.
controller I have for the logic and just use the motor controller and have a dumb system essentially. But I want to be able to go in and add my sensors, add adaptive braking, add in my regenerative braking, and all these advanced features that just a motor controller doesn't offer you.
Mm-hmm. But it was like 3 4 months, or because I would like to know more specific. I mean, to know, because in any case, I'm really impressed that you could do that alone. I mean,
So I have about 425 hours in on this project so far.
wow,
If I was just doing an electric motorcycle from scratch, I would probably expect to do it over a 6-month period.
wow.
I would have a lot more time in the frame design and
Mm-hmm.
fitment. Because this was a research piece, it was left a lot larger
Mm-hmm.
than it could have been. I could have made it a lot more compact and used smaller components.
Mm-hmm. And you were studying at the same time.
And I had the full course load on the last semester, yes.
Wow, no. So it was like studying and go to your house and wow.
Yes, I dedicated the last semester to my that project of building the motorcycle. I did have to sacrifice some of my academic achievements for it.
Mhm.
I recognized that going into the semester, and I was prepared for that to happen.
And for you, uh, did it deserve this sacrifice and all the effort?
Oh, yes, I thoroughly enjoyed doing it and seeing myself actually complete the project. That was a huge accomplishment for myself.
That's the most important. I mean, the satisfaction to see the results.
Oh, yeah.
Um, you mentioned integrated advanced features like blind spot detection and lane keep assist. How did you plan for this future enhancement? Because I am not an expert. I'm a journalist. I mean, I'm a person who knows about everything, but at the same time, I have no idea. So, for a person like me, how you could explain this? Or why did you want to add this to your e-bike?
Main thing I wanted to add in is because that's a features we come and see with cars. And
Mm-hmm.
I know as a motorcyclist myself, having the blind spot detection, I'm able to see it come on cars when I'm coming up to beside them and they know I'm there.
Mm-hmm.
So from a biking perspective, it's nice. Our blind spot is significantly smaller,
Mm-hmm.
but it's also right where you're right behind us when we try to pass is the blind spot I found out, unfortunately. So the way I would implement the blind spot detector was with a shallow angle range detector. So if there's an object within a certain space with us traveling at the same speed,
Mm-hmm.
it'll then trigger it. Alternatively, we could do radar systems as well. That would be a lot more expensive and require more processing power, but that's why we have the programmable logic controller and a PC in the system. For the lane detect assist, we would have to do an optical camera and do AI integration with it. To help with the lane assist feature of that, we would use a gyroscopic system. So we
Mm-hmm.
gyroscopically progress the bike back vertical or over to try and help steer the bike from the other lanes.
And it was something that you wanted, or you saw reference to. Oh, I like this from this e-bike, so I want the same for mine. Or I don't know if you saw something like yours.
So I have not seen any of it
Mm-hmm.
yet on the market. I
Oh.
believe BMW might have just released in the 2025
Mm-hmm.
model year. Their higher end bikes come with blind spot detection now.
Oh.
So it's something that is actually coming out to market.
Wow. Oh, I mean, I don't know how it's possible you can see that before perhaps other professionals can do it. For me, it's a perspective or a that I could not do it in general. I mean, when people, hey, I think this is the future. I think this is very interesting. I think this is going to be relevant. I don't know how you can see that perspective or on your own routine. How you thought, hey, I think this could work. I don't know how you see like a problem and you find a solution. How it's possible. I mean, it's a sense that I don't have.
For myself, it is where do I have issues or what do I want something to be better? I love coffee. So I'm always working with coffee, trying to find better ways to better make it, better extraction, different styles. To the point now I have a full collection of coffee and I can make it dozens of different ways.
Yeah.
When it comes to larger projects like this motorcycle, it is what am I missing on my bike? What is it that I want on there? What would make my quality of life on a bike better?
Mm-hmm.
The lane keep assist, the blind spot detection, those are the big two.
Currently, you are working to get insurance for your e-bike, right?
If I can find a method to get it insured, then I can actually
Oh,
get it on the
so
road.
so still you didn't get it, so I don't know how you are navigating to this process because it looks like I'm doing, but I'm not so close.
I took a big break over the Christmas break just for myself and trying to recover from all
Ah, for
the
sure. After.
sleepless nights I put into the bike. And right now, I am working with research to try and figure out the best way I can go about to get this as a legal road vehicle.
Mhm. It's because you want to cross, like, I mean, I'm not sure about this because I didn't understand, because you want to do like a journey, like a trip between two cities, so you want to use it in your normal life because.
So that is the range. It
Mm-hmm.
is has about a 150-kilometer range, so it can go
Mm-hmm.
from London to Waterloo in a
Yeah.
single charge.
Mm-hmm.
For the daily life, I have my gas-powered motorcycle,
Mm-hmm.
so that takes care of that. With it being electric and myself, I live in an apartment building. I'm not able to charge it at home, so that's a big
Oh.
issue right now with electric vehicles is the home infrastructure that needs to be improved.
Also, okay, so the e-bike you cannot park um, outside. You cannot leave it outside your.
Not
No.
this one at this
Okay.
time because
Oh.
it's a research vehicle. It's not
Mm-hmm.
hardened against the elements.
Oh, I see. And it looks big. So where? I
It's
mean,
smaller than my
no.
bike.
Yeah.
Yes, and my daily rider is a 500 class Honda.
I when I was. I mean, I have pictures from Philip creating the e-bike, and in the pictures, I swear, for me it was like, wow, very big, the bike, but not.
No, it's about a 250 to 300 class for the wheelbase and size.
Hmm?
Because I am 6 feet and I just barely sit comfortably on it and can flat foot it easily.
Mm. What excites you most about becoming a system integration engineer?
Hmm. I just like the challenge of it. Every project, there's different challenges that you're facing trying to overcome. With that, you also have different restrictions and different expectations. So, what worked for company A will not work for company B. So, you always have to be learning and trying new things.
And how do you think innovations like your e-bike could shape the future of sustainable transportation? Not about technology, about sustainable.
Having that bikes are amazing for like that 5 to 10 kilometer range. Once you get out that, people like to drive. Having an electric motorcycle, electric bike, that takes care of that around town need that we don't have really covered. We have city transit, which is limited on where it goes and how often it runs. And cars are not needed within a city typically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no reason we should be idling around in a gas vehicle when we could be on a small, compact, personal electric vehicle that has a significantly smaller impact on the climate.
And when you live alone, I mean, you are a student, perhaps a car, it's an expense that you cannot cover it.
Oh,
So,
definitely.
mhm. It could give one piece of advice to students pursuing ambitious projects. What would it be?
Know the skills you have going in and make sure you're not learning a new skill for that project. The bigger and more complicated the project is, you already have to have those skills lined up and ready to go. I on the first stage of the project when we're doing our time management and producing our Gantt charts and workflow, I had it for about 360 hours on my Gantt chart. And then I got to the first week of December and I was sitting right at 360 hours. So the extra time I
Mhm.
spent on the project was just dumping time in that week and the following week, just trying to get the project completely wrapped up.
Mhm. Um, what has been the most rewarding aspect of this project? I mean, personally and professionally, because we talk about the most challenging moment, but now I would like something that you feel really proud of you.
For me, it was working with all the staff here at Fanshawe. I was
Oh.
able to talk with a lot of the professors in the different shops and get a lot of guidance and facilitation of me going in and actually machining it, welding it, working on the metal work for the body and seat, doing some of the sewing. It just, without the support of the techs, professors, and the college itself, I would not have been able to actually get this bike done in time. It would have been something that would have taken me 6 to 8 months to do.
Mhm. From all your professors, so I don't know if you talk to other professors from other programs related to engineering for sure, but I don't know if you want to mention someone especially that it really helps during the process. I don't know if you want to mention someone.
Honestly, we have Eric in the machining department was great help. He helped me do some of the CNC work along with having their capstone hours in the machine shop for us to go in and work on it. The welding department and all the professors in there was helping me come in and actually using the welders and using the space and actually getting that done was amazing and incredibly thankful for that. And then we have Josh with the trade accelerator and Josh and shoot, we got Eric in machining.
Well, no worries, because I can understand it was not only the resources that Fanshawe provided, it was all the professors and all the help that you receive from them. So that's the most important. It's only, I always want to perhaps to share with all the people, the students, the names of that wonderful professors who always are supporting the students. That's it. So, but it's okay. Thank you, Professors of Fanshawe.
And it was, oh shoot, this professor, he helped a lot with 3D printing because there was a lot of prototyping with it and producing the gas tank and all these different components. Usually was 2 or 3 tries to actually get it done. Perry, there we go. Perry was very helpful.
And my last question is, what's next for you?
What's next is
Yeah.
I'm waiting to find out. We have a couple things in the pipeline, and I'm just waiting to see what actually ends up taking roots. There's a couple of different electrification projects I'm waiting to find out if we're going forward with. And then in the industry, I have a couple of leads as well. So it's going to be an exciting year to see what happens.
You have to give me the exclusive, because for this one, I have to take the exclusive from the statement. So now for the next project, you have to come here directly.
Perfect.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you so much for this interview and to let me know that engineering is more complicated, more sustainable than I expected. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for listening to another episode of the Red Couch Podcast. You can catch up with every episode on our website or wherever you get your podcast. We have Google, Apple, Spotify, and watch full episodes on our YouTube channel and subscribe to our newsletter to keep up with Fanshawe. For the Interrobank, I'm Gracia Espinosa.